Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another live. Today is November 15th, 13th or 15th. I can't read that. It looks like the 15th. Sorry, everybody. I don't know what today is. If I look a little different today, uh, it's because I'm using a new camera. It's a new high definition camera. So I think hopefully you'll stay around for the live after this. So, I'd like to welcome everybody. We have great weather, great day today. So, relax, enjoy the live. I'm going to try to get finished and in 30 minutes. So, I'm going to go directly to the presentation right now. And if you have any questions, please feel free to send a message on WhatsApp. So, all righty, let's get started. I'm going to go to share screen. It's going to take about 10 minutes. Remember, I'm trying to get finished in about less than 30 minutes. So I think here we are. And going here to my presentation and slide at the wall. All righty, let's get started. As you know, I start every live with this. And alrighty, let's get started. Vamos começar. Enough. All right, stuff. You want to lead with stuff. We have italics will be the prepositions. Your asterisks will be the adverbs with LEY. The brackets will be your third column, the verbs in the third column, and then the red letters will be any words with any, some, all the words, I should say, with any, some, no, and every. Then we have the blue letters, which would be the essential words. We need to go to the next level. We need these blue words. There aren't many tonight, but I do have some keywords. Could, would, and should. Actually, I think there's only one could and one would. I don't remember, but here I have tonight. I have one reflexivo. That's ourselves. Ourselves. This is plural. Nós mesmo. Então, unless, even though I think I don't have one of these tonight, but I do have some gerunds again. Gerunds will be on all the lives from now on. And these are certain words that end with the ing. Now, some people we have new, I don't know, but the gerund comes after the verb, after a preposition, always will have the ing form. After preposition, because after preposition always comes a thing, not a verb. So we'll see, I think, 2 or 3 of those tonight. And then gerund can also be an object. You know, words like marketing. Yeah, it's marketing in Portuguese. Building, construindo. No, it's construção, prédio. And after the adjective, it can be an adjective, an interesting person. And then after certain verbs. So certain verbs, the second verb is never a verb. It's always going to be gerúndio. I don't think I have any of those tonight, but let's take a look. We'll go directly to our presentation. Be careful what you wish for. You have that in Portuguese. Be careful. Cuidar. Cuidar. Now, wish is desire. Now, we have 2 words. Wish and desire. Portuguese, they're both desejar. But wish is something that is something that you desire, but you're not acting. Sometimes it's too big. Boy, I wish I could play football. I wish I could sing, but I can't sing very well. So it's a wish. I can't do anything about it. So boy, I wish I had $1 million reais. So these are things that maybe I can get that, but então. So now in the United States and Brazil, I want to start with this little politics. The president holds office. Now you know holds segurar, holds office, but this is a strange expression for 4 years, if they're lucky. But the office is his or her cargo. And it's a strange expression in English. The president holds office for 4 years, the office of president. So that's the cargo. Now, in ancient Israel, there were 3 offices. What were they? There were the prophet, the priest, sacerdote or padre today, and then the king. I'm going to be king. I wish I were king. Okay. Now, in Hebrew, prophet means spokesman, which is portavoz. And they're spokesmen for God. That's who they are. And now a little bit about the prophets, just a little. Some prophets wrote books. Moses, Isaiah, Jeremiah. Remember, Isaac and Jacob are prophets. They didn't write anything. Adam is considered a prophet. He didn't write anything, so that we know of. So now many of the prophets are anonymous. We will never know them. Some are mentioned in the Bible one time, and we hear their name, but we don't know anything about them. And there was actually a school of prophets. So I'm going to start my own school of prophecy. So for 59 reais, I will send you a certificate, and you will be a prophet. How does that sound? Maybe I should increase the price, 99 reais. All right. But if you act today, just for 79 reais. All right. Now the kings were warned to obey the prophets. This is in Deuteronomy. This is before there was a king. So the kings were warned. Now remember the verb warn is alertar, or there's another one, avisar. But this is when there's negative consequences. The kings were warned to obey the prophets, and there were consequences. I warn you, don't go to Cidade Tiradentes. Don't go to these bad neighborhoods. I'm warning you. So here's the negative consequence, because they will take your phone, they will rob you, roubar, or other things. Então, assaltar. So I'm warning you, don't go to these cities. So the kings were warned to obey the prophets. Now the most known, this is conhecido prophet, was Samuel. Here you see Samuel, English Samuel. He was the most known prophet. And he was around when Israel wanted a king. Now this is a strange thing. He was around, existed when Israel wanted a king. Now to give you an idea, the coronavirus has been around for almost 1 year. So in this case, the word for existed for 1 year, has been around. All right. So this happened around 1000 BC, before Christ, antes de Cristo. This happened around 1000 BC. And strange, the Bible never gives a year. In the Jewish calendars, there are 2 Jewish calendars, and the Bible never gives a year. Maybe that's why. The only definite year is in the beginning. That's year 0. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So the Bible never gives a year. Very fascinating. To me, that's fascinating. Anyhow, now also in verse 8, Samuel had 2 sons. The older one was Joel, and the younger one was Abijah. When Samuel was getting old, now this is not a gerund, getting, because there's the verb to be. This is tempo continuo. When Samuel was getting old, he let them be leaders at Beersheba. Now let, I included this because let is deshar. This is deshar, permission. He let them be leaders at Beersheba. My wife doesn't let me spend money, so let. And it's let. Past, present, past, and terceira coluna. But they were not like their father. By the way, leaders would be líderes, probably already resolved this, but they were not like their fathers. And there's similes como seu pai. They were dishonest and accepted bribes to give unfair decisions. Now, you know the word honest, and here's the negative form, dishonest. And I think you have that in Portuguese. I don't remember. Desonesto. and they accepted bribes. Bribe here would be suborno. We looked at this, I think, 3 weeks ago. Bribes is subornos. So Samuel's children were corrupt. They gave unfair decisions. And fair, as you know, is justo. Unfair, não justo. So here's our two forms of negatives: dishonest and unfair. And they don't combine well, English and Portuguese, I'm sorry to say. Bad kids, remember, can happen to anybody. Everybody has seen it, and maybe everybody has been one of these bad kids. But it can happen to any father. Good parents, good father, good mother, good parents, and the child, something happened to the child. Now, a good prophet does not necessarily mean a good parent. Many pastors can tell you the same thing. Pastors' kids, oh boy. The children of pastores, os filhos dos pastores, it is a difficult situation for them. And some of them, I don't know what the verb is, rebeldes, some rebeldes, and they become bad children because they want to afastar from their parents' lives. So a good prophet does not necessarily mean a good parent, and a good parent doesn't necessarily mean a good child. Now you know this word necessarily, necessariamente. So, no, it happens. Now, does Israel at the time of Samuel sound familiar? Very corrupt. It reminds me of this city where, well, let's take a look. What city is this? And here it comes, there it is, Brasilia, where there's corruption, where good people go to become corrupt. In Brasilia, I hate to say. And this city, we all know this city too. Which one is it? It is this one. Coming up, here it is. Oh, there it is, Washington, D.C. I'd say probably the two most corrupt cities in the world is Washington, D.C. and Brasilia. There are other corrupt cities, but they have the image of not being corrupt, or they want the image of good government, but it's corrupt in both cities, Washington and Brasilia. And Washington is, in very few years, has become extremely corrupt, I hate to say. Anyhow, now back to Samuel 8. So all the elders of Israel gathered together. And gather, we'll look at here in just a minute. They came to Samuel at Ramah. Now gather is koyer, heunir. They gathered together. Koyer, heunir. And here we have this word, to gather is together. You know this word. So gathered together is almost a redundant. It's redundant to say gathered together. So the elders of Israel gathered together. It doesn't make sense here. So it is changed. We have other words like this, like tomorrow, today. There's the preposition to. So this is an example of an old English word, together. Together is an old word. Anyhow, they said to him, you are old. Your sons don't live as you do. There's the as como. So appoint a king to lead us. Liderar. We want a king just like the kings all the other nations have. Now here, just like, would be igualzinho. Just like, igualzinho. The kings all the other nations have. They want one. And Samuel tried to persuade them against this. Now persuade, you know, it's the same, persuadir, against this, contra. Now against is contra. Now this word we need, against, contra. He spent the next 8 verses warning them not to do this. There's a word, warn, alertar, acautelar, literally acautelar. in Portuguese, but nobody knows acautelar. So he spent 8 verses. Sorry, that should be time. He spent obviously much time telling them, hey, don't do this. But in the Bible, it's only 8 verses. And he told them specifically what was going to happen. But they wanted a king like the other countries. And they would end up getting a king like the other countries. Now, here's end up. We've looked at this, I believe, 2 or 3 times. End up is Akabar. Elis Akabarion, getting Heseber, a king like all the other countries. They wanted a king, and they got their king. Unfortunately, we need to remember the times. Now, times, time can be tempo, os tempos, os momentos can be momentos ou a época. We need to remember a época, the times. We need to remember them. This was at the end of something called the ancient Middle Ages. This is fascinating history, by the way. Fascinating. This word, fascinante. The ancient Middle Ages. Now, everybody knows the Middle Ages, Idade Média. But now we have an ancient Middle Ages. Idade Média Antiga. Idade Média Antiga. This happened, well, we'll take a look. Have you heard of this? I like this question in Portuguese. Já ouviu? Tempo passado. In English, this is a perfect tense question. Have you heard of this? Já ouviu? Have you heard? Cities and languages disappeared. Entire cities, entire languages disappeared, gone. And civilization nearly collapsed. Now, collapse is more like, I forgot the word in Portuguese. Collapse would be derrubar. Now, buildings collapse. Buildings can collapse. Here in Brazil, it happens on the news. We see a building collapse. I believe you use derrubar, and I can't remember there's another word, that debafar. Oh boy, I need to look at this. Sorry, guys, but the word nearly. Now, near is close, near and close, near and close. Now, we use the word close to. Now, this is spatial, close to. I live close to the subway. So close to, there's a reference point. Close to, and near is more general. The old near. Today, near, close to, the same thing. So, but in this time, civilization nearly collapsed. Desabou, quasi desabou, says Google. So I don't know if desabar works here, but the civilization almost ended. Of course it didn't. It wouldn't end. But the major players stopped. The cities, the big cities, the major cities became smaller, and there was and again, the civilization nearly collapsed. Languages gone and down. Very strange. It started around the same time Israelites left Egypt. Very interesting. This is around, some people say 1200 BC, 1200 BC, 1400. So when the Israelites left Egypt, we have this near collapse. Civilization nearly collapsed during this time, and made Israel stronger, or less vulnerable, menos vulnerável to the other countries. So maybe this was a way of God protecting them. Nobody knows exactly why. God protecting, proteger. Nobody knows exactly why this happened. All they know is there was a group called the Sea Peoples. You have probably never heard of this. Sea Peoples. If you do, you get 50 bonus points. But these sea peoples, nobody knows anything about them. They just came by sea. And they destroyed the Hittite Empire, a major empire. They probably destroyed, but they were a big factor, and that destroyed the Hittites. Poof, gone, a major empire. And they nearly destroyed the Egyptians, almost. And that's how we know about this sea people group, the sea peoples. Now, by the way, they were probably the Philistines. If you know your Bible history, Philistines give the Jews problems for many centuries. So these strange sea peoples came and they just destroyed everything. Now, why did they do it? Nobody knows this either. Também, negativa. Nobody. So there's your negative. Nobody knows this either. Most think they were hungry because there were some droughts, seca, in the area. There's no rain for periods of time. And now the book of Ruth, strange, tells us about a bad drought. I'm sure not the only drought, but única, seca. So the book of Ruth tells us about a bad drought, seca, ruim, mau. It took place. Remember this, take place, acontecer, formal, something formal, evento like this, the drought. It took place around 1100 to 1200 BC. Now 1200, just Pedro, what are you talking about? Doze centos. Welcome to English, everybody. It can be 1,200 years, but usually we say 1200, 1100 or 1200 BC, before Christ, antes de Cristo. Now, what did the Israelites say? Let's get back to Samuel. What did the Israelites tell Samuel? But the people refused to listen to Samuel. Now, remember, we've looked at this, refuse, Heguzar. They refused to listen to him. No, they said, we want a king. We want a king over us. We want a king. Then we will be like all the other nations. Now it's the truth. With a king to lead us, liderar, and go out before us. Now here, before is not antes, it would be diante. So diante is before in English. And fight our battles. Lutar nossas batalhas. You can probably Hazel there. Battles, batalhas. Anyhow, it had nothing to do with Samuel's sons. That's what they told him. Now here in Portuguese, that means não tinha nada a ver com os filhos de Samuel. It had nothing to do with Samuel's sons. I have nothing to do with bad people, politicians. I have nothing to do with them. So it had nothing to do. This was, they created this. And this is called coveting. Now here, coveting is a thing. It's cobiça. The verb is covet, regular, and it's cobiça. This is called coveting, chamada coveting. They wanted what everybody else had. Now it was time for taking the lead in the world, and this is the Israelites. It was time for taking the lead in the world. They wanted power, poder. They wanted power. Power is what they wanted. Oh, they saw it. The other countries were not strong. Now this was their opportunity. Oportunidade to be powerful, poderoso, powerful. They wanted power, and they rationalized it was the right thing to do. Now here, you know, this verb rationalize is racionalizar. They rationalized it was the right thing to do. Now here in English, Rationalize means to convince. I'll give you three guesses to convince in Portuguese. It's convencer, convencer, or convencer. So convince ourselves that something is right and it isn't. We are all good at rationalizing, aren't we? And everybody knows what I'm talking about. Oh, it's something that we thought was right at the time. And we know that it was wrong, wrong, wrong. We are all good at rationalizing, convincing ourselves that something is right and it isn't. Or this is what God wants me to do and it isn't. But that's a nice name for lie. Lie would be mentir. So rationalize. We convince or we lie to ourselves that something is right. We're all good at rationalizing. Alrighty, guys, let's review some of the comparisons tonight. Revisar. And here's the first one. The older one was Joel, and the younger one was Abijah. So Joel is older than Abijah. Abijah is younger than Joel. That's our first comparison. But they were not like their father. This is a simile. They were not like their father, como seu pai. They were not like their father. So this is a comparison, and with the word like. Then with like and as, they are similes. Your sons don't live as you do, or like you do, como você. And here do means live. So pronome dos verbos. Your sons don't live as you do. And the last one, we want a king just like the kings all the other nations have. Oof, we want a king just like igualzinho, like. Are we like the Israelites? Are we like the Israelites? Yes, we are. We are good at rationalizing, saying this is what God wants, or this is what is right, and it is nothing more than cobiça. So we want what we want, and then we rationalize the rest. Are we like the Israelites? Think about it. So we will end here tonight. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful. Now in Portuguese, cuidar com. Be careful with what you wish for. And we will end this night on a preposition. Be careful what you wish for. So we'll stop here tonight. Good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us, everybody, tonight. You're joining me for this live. See everybody next, probably Thursday. Thursday at 8 o'clock. So I'm going to change the night from Sunday to Thursday. If you want Sunday night, let me know. I may change this. So let me know about Thursday. But this Thursday, I will start at 8 o'clock. So if you prefer Sunday, let me know. If there are enough people, I'll go back to Sunday. But I think everybody wants Thursday. Sunday night, everybody's doing something. So very few people join me on Sunday, and they watch during the week. So I think I'm going to keep it on Thursday unless you let me know. All right, everybody, have a good night. See you either on Thursday or in class. Good night, everybody.